What we got today?
What are we doing to white people?
Whoa. That's an interesting title.
It says what we doing to white
my
people.
brother. What are white people doing to us, my brother?
I've seen this video going viral everywhere. Y'all had
What are
to
we
see
doing
this.
to white people?
What we doing to white people?
Hello, no way.
Let's
Y'all never seen this Asian guy's face.
I never seen
I ain't never
that.
seen him before. Who the hell is that?
I don't know either, man.
What are we doing to white people?
Yeah, I mean,
That's
let's
an
get to
Asian
it.
dude saying that?
3.7 million
That's
views.
crazy.
How's that crazy, bro?
I wouldn't-
He's saying what he feel like he has seen that people are doing to white people.
Yeah, he
You
has
know
a
what's crazy
perspective
though?
too, but
The guy that we seen, Scott Adams, right? Literally the next day, I got on Twitter and I seen somebody tweet. It was like, okay, this is getting sick, and it was a black dude just running around, multiple combinations, just punching white people, bro.
No way.
I swear, I've seen this yesterday.
That's terrible. Are you serious?
I'm serious. I can show y'all.
I don't even watch that. That's
It's pretty sad, bro. Let's see what Charlie has to say, man. Let's jump right into this.
Wow, this really dudes out
Like, this is
here.
getting bad. I
talk
can understand
about what
this.
we're doing
I can see what
to
this
white people. There's been something going on for a while now that we're being told not to notice. More to the
Back
point,
up.
let's talk about what we're doing to white people. There's been something going on for a while now that we're being told not to notice. More to the point, that we're asking white people not only to ignore, but to accept. The rising tide of racial hatred against white people. In the past decade, there has been a noticeable cultural shift in what constitutes acceptable speech as it relates to white people. Back when I was a kid, in the early 2000s, the mainstream American culture preached about respecting each other's differences and not seeing color. Nowadays, we say that not seeing color is racism, that you must see color. But the more I see how things are unfolding, the more I'm convinced that this is wrong. Back then, saying something offhanded about white people were seen as not appropriate, just as it would be to say something offhanded about people of any other race. But that soon gave way to our current times, in which there exists virtually no limit to what racial minorities can and do say about white people. I believe this is the natural outgrowth of a perverse ideology that teaches us that every societal ill is the fault of white people, and that whatever prejudice acts we may inflict upon them does not constitute discrimination because we don't have the power to discriminate. And alarmingly, this is particularly pronounced in the younger generation. But is it true? Do we not have the power to discriminate? Well, let's see. First, let's take a look at the racial hatred at the interpersonal level. In today's society, it has become somewhat fashionable to think things and say things about and to white people that would not be acceptable if it was said about any other race. And we're being taught that this double standard is not wrong, that it is rather a form of empowerment. They'll attribute negative experiences that they've had with white people to their whiteness. You had an argument in line at the grocery store with a white person, they were acting entitled because they were white. A white driver cut you off when you were driving, they need to check their white privilege. Your actions, your conduct, and your existence, in other words, boil down to your whiteness. And ashamedly, at one point in time, this was how I used to think as well. And beyond the people in my circle, I noticed that many people of color have this sort of blasé attitude, an attitude most particularly pronounced when there are no other white people around. Things are being said not just behind closed doors, but out in the open, not just between close friends, but between complete strangers. So here's the thing. This is something that I've experienced countless times, so I know that there are other people who are experiencing it too. I know it must resonate with at least some of you. The difficulty here is that no matter how many anecdotes I share, they are just that, anecdotes. And people who refuse to believe that this is happening will just chalk it up to my experiences being a fluke. Or worse yet, they'll say I'm lying. So I've compiled some TikTok videos. I want you to take a look at the things that are being said about white people, especially by the younger generation, the kind of statements people wouldn't dare say about people of any other race. Take a look at what is stunningly in vogue in today's society and ask yourselves, where does this lead to years down the line?
You have a token white and you're hanging out with your friend group of color, you need to ask permission from everybody in the group to bring your white friend. Like, don't just bring them.
What?
I might not be in the mood to deal with white shenanigans that day. That's all I'm saying. And another thing, it feeds into their ego. Like, don't let them think they're a good white person.
Accomplices ask, how can they support Black and Indigenous people of color? And sometimes I really don't know what to say, but here's one easy way. Just don't have babies.
Native American.
Can single-handedly cause the white genocide that they are so afraid of. With 2.25 billion Asian women and 500 million white men, baby, it'll only take 2 generations. In 2 generations, there will no longer be any blonde-haired.
These are some things I noticed about white American culture. Being grounded is a punishment to them. That's what they call punishment. The least grounded, least balanced, most destructive race considers being grounded a punishment. Yeah.
Positive.
They also say really violent for.
If a white person said that about a black person,
Yeah,
bro,
it would be bad.
do you know how bad this shit will be going up right now? That's the exact same thing Officer Tatum was saying. I've never seen this.
this before.
I never really saw this.
Yeah, man. It's crazy. It's crazy.
It is. They say things like, kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Well, how do we have to kill the birds? Why is everything so violent? It's almost like one's language and phrases reflects one's nature.
I know she did just say that.
So that new Jeffrey Dahmer movie on Netflix is the perfect example of the sensationalization of white violence. People have a much easier time sympathizing with white criminals than they do with black victims. People think these shows are harmless, but they actually contribute to a much bigger issue. It contributes to the viewpoint that white people are less violent than everyone else, and white violence is something to be consumed in media, and that's it.
What is with Caucasian people and like their inability to like read a fucking room? Like y'all act like you don't understand shit because y'all are the first ones during
Make sure this is all
I hate generalized.
Okay, that's the problem.
But y'all, are y'all surprised? What all we saw though?
What you mean? Are we
All the
surprised?
people that saying something is women.
You might have a point there. I can't lie.
Why are y'all surprised?
I mean, in the last video I said I seen a lot of women tweet, I hate white people. I never see a lot of men doing that, so I can't lie. You might have a point there. Let's keep going. Let's see. That's a great point there, Tom.
Opened up a whole new can of worms.
To get so mad when black people be like, you do realize that the original Jewish people were black, right? White people do not need to explain to anybody about us all bleeding red because, baby, you all are the people that need to learn that lesson. Clearly, history shows that you all are the people that like to pillage and eradicate, enslave and oppress, attempt to suppress greatness because you all simply don't have it.
Right? Here go y'all cum goblins who don't even live in the fucking city. Which, by the way, the Q-tip people are the last ones to ever talk about somebody stealing anything. Y'all wouldn't be in this country had it not been for y'all stealing it.
Scream
So y'all
somebody
want to focus on people looting and trying to get necessities and things that they need. And yes, a TV is a fucking necessity. Thanks, but you feel like you're better than because people are out here stealing and you would never. First of all, if you are a Mayo monster, that is how your ancestors got everything from stealing.
And that's a behavior that's very common among white women. You may have not intended that, but there are many white women who act exactly like you.
If you can find me like to donate to the discriminated white fund, you'd be helping millions.
Nothing says high protein like cicadas and cheese. Make sure you.
And nothing says caucasity like that right there.
What caucasity looks like? Roaming
What is
into
that?
a grocery
Caucasity,
store
like,
like
saying
it's
like
an
something's
amusement
white.
park.
Explain to me why white people
Their
don't wear shoes
audacity with
outdoors, but
Caucasian.
wear shoes inside.
We're both white women.
Yeah, man. This is terrible now, bro.
In spaces for black
if you reverse this shit.
people of color simply by existing.
Okay, what happens if they do it in a dark humor way? Is that bad?
I don't know, man.
Oh, okay. Do you do bad in dark humor way?
We're both white women. We are inherently a danger in spaces for black, indigenous, and other people of color simply by existing.
I hate the term people
It's
of color.
white cis men who are a part of the far right-wing ideology of fascism. That is a true threat and the terrorism to this country.
If BIPOCs stand in the street and scream at the top of their lungs, I hate all white people, I want all white people to go die, die white devil, you cracker bitch, that's still not racism.
You're not one of the good white people, Heather. Stop separating us from the bad white people. Don't sit out there in comments and say, we don't claim them. We are them. We are the ones shooting up schools. We are the ones raping people, the ones enslaving people.
And I'll say it.
Who is enslaved?
I hate being white. Which means I'm one of the good ones.
Oh.
Hey, bro. What is he watching?
Yeah. And you be racist against white people.
Based off of the definition of racism, yes, but it's not gonna hurt them and hurt their opportunities like it does people of color.
Well, technically you can. It's not like an issue.
You can oppress the oppressor.
It helps you
Why do people not understand that you can't be racist to white people? It's impossible. The system is not set up that way. You can insult white people, but it is not racism. Me calling a white person a tub of mayonnaise and a like flower looking ass, that's not racist.
You went all the way to Africa to physically take black people from their homes, shove them in on boats where a lot of them got diseases and died, told them where they could sit on a bus, told them which schools they could go to, which water fountains they could use, which bathrooms they could use, and that's sugarcoating it. Those are just terms. I'm not even describing all the disgusting things that happen, and they don't even want revenge. They are letting you guys skate by asking for equal rights.
No, that's crazy.
That's it? And you're still saying no? They are not as angry as they should be. Y'all are getting off easy, and you're still saying no? Fuck you.
Some people look at that and chalk it up to the grumblings of the powerless. That's the idea that when you have a power disparity, the less powerful sort of has this general society given leeway to complain about the more powerful. The villagers complaining about their king doesn't have the same ring as the king making snide and crude comments about the villagers. But that's not what's going on here. Because although certain segments of our society refuse to believe this, even as evidence mount before our very eyes, in one side of the political aisle, people of color actually have greater power than white people. That is the truth that is not being acknowledged by the people that need to hear it, because this gets in the way of them wielding that power in the way they want.
I ain't gonna lie. When you said that kingdom stuff, we might gotta run that back.
The villagers complaining about their king doesn't have the same ring as the king making snide and crude comments about the villagers. But that's not what's going on here. Because although certain segments of our society refuse to believe this, even as evidence mount before our very eyes, in one side of the political aisle, people of color actually have greater power than white people. That is the truth that is not being acknowledged by the people that need to hear it, because this gets in the way of them wielding that power in the way they want, malignantly. I've heard from somewhere that politics is downstream of culture, and I think that's
how y'all feel about that?
We have a mainstream culture.
Did he say people of color have more? Did he say that?
He said on one side of the spectrum, he did say that.
Yeah, I agree with that.
How?
That we.
Say we have more power than white people.
I wouldn't say that we have more power, but
color, so like,
we
like. In some ways we do, bro. Because we can control a lot of stuff.
I think Asians are considered people of color.
I mean, anyone outside of white.
Anybody that's not white.
Well, they're the richest people in the country.
Well, they're the smallest population size.
That's true, but you know,
I think. Is he saying like on some like maybe on some like black people control what's cool?
You're not talking about black people, talking about black people.
That's talking about everybody.
Muslims. Yeah, that's why I don't know what he's talking about.
I wouldn't say
think black. Think everybody else, but
yeah,
white.
I know. So that's why I don't know what he's talking about. Then
like it could be like
that's the only way I can see it.
Yeah, he has a point. He has a point. I think definitely from the entertainment spectrum, people of color, particularly black people, do control. Let me say, have a heavy influence. Have a extremely heavy influence.
I would say
on fashion, music, sports.
I don't think just black, bro. I think they talking about like
they never said we're talking about
like Native Americans on the casinos. Asians on some cold stuff too.
Yeah, I want to know what you know.
The King statement made sense though.
Yeah, but that last statement.
But I do see where someone's coming from because I've heard this multiple times that black people have a lot more power. I wouldn't say more
people of color. That's why.
Okay, not black people. Okay,
people of color.
We do, brother. Can't lie.
That's Asians too.
I would say we probably do, man. I've heard this term. I've heard that a lot.
But in what way, though, is what we asking. We're not saying you're wrong. We're just saying how.
Yeah, I would like to have that.
Yeah, I want to hear facts.
We need to do clarification. But I've heard that multiple
times. But you say you believe something. So how you believe?
I believe in like entertainment-wise and like certain things that we can control.
That's not even just black people. I say the Koreans might eating us on that. To be honest with you.
Entertainment. How?
America?
That's what I'm wondering. In America?
Yeah, I don't know where you're going with that.
I'm talking about in general. Like
worldwide? We are talking about in America.
Now we're talking about solely America.
Yeah.
America.
What are you talking about? Korea?
Okay. The whole prejudice and hateful view of white people. And our politics is then infused with this energy. And we see active, overt, and on the books racial discrimination of white people that those who are perpetuating this hatred is refusing to see as discrimination. They'll say, no. This is remediation. These are the same people who are making tenuous arguments that some of our race-neutral laws discriminate against people of color. And this is certainly evidence that in one side of the political aisle, people of color have more power than white people. Because if we didn't have the power, we wouldn't be able to put into place practices and policies that does this. That's what power is. Things like Minneapolis local government agreeing to a contract with the teachers union that says white teachers must be fired first. New York City's government enacting a policy of having white seniors go to the back of the line on life-saving COVID treatment.
Wait, what?
A college professor that says white people should be killed and facing no repercussions. Cornell University banning white people from rock climbing lessons.
I think I see what you're saying.
One of many instances of liberal colleges doing the utmost to exclude and ostracize white students. BIPOC only events equal no whites, but they don't have the guts to say that, even though that is what that is. That's what makes us different than the mere grumblings of the common villager. The villagers have surrounded the palace, demanding Marie Antoinette's head. The power dynamics have shifted. That is a fact.
But even with that being said, can I ask, do y'all think, even with those examples, does that mean we have more power?
No, I don't think so. I think we have more leeway of what we say.
Yeah.
Like, he's just saying it's okay to say bad things about white people from people of color.
Yeah, I don't know if power is the right word.
That's not power.
I think there's more.
He was just bringing up like examples of like policies and things that affect white people.
Put
in place by people that aren't white.
But you gotta understand that some white people that are regular citizens include themselves like with everybody. They don't include themselves as high level government. You know what I'm saying? So a white person couldn't go make some crazy stuff happen, they feel like. But a black person, like, you have to show more sympathy toward them. So that, like, we're talking about regular citizens here. So a white person, like, people of government and like high powered people, those are totally different people. We see them there in position, we think automatically, okay, white people have that power. But all white people don't have that power. That's only one man with that power. So, but they make more stuff like basically like the black lady just popped up on there. Like, they like black people have more. I see what he's saying though. We have more ways to like make stuff happen because of our color. This is what he's saying. Because we're the minority.
I guess that makes sense.
I see what
in
you're
that
saying.
aspect, yeah. We can break it down like that.
Yes.
All right, I'm gonna let it ride. All right.
He said, hold on.
Media outlets can uncover these stories. Some people out there have no idea that this is going on. But worse, some others out there know but agree with what's going on. And for those people to convince themselves that this is not racial discrimination, they play mind tricks and word games. They use phrases and talking points like punching up. You can't be racist to white people. You can't oppress the oppressor, meaning I'm acting oppressively, but I've designated you as the oppressor, so everything goes. Or Abraham Candy's infamous words, the only way to remedy past discrimination is current discrimination. Or when people say things like, what we're doing to white people is not racism, because racism is prejudice plus power, and we don't have the power. They use all this mind-bending apparatus to delude themselves into believing what they're doing faces no moral consequence. But in the back of their minds, perhaps in their subconscious minds, is racial revenge. We experienced it, you experienced it too. See how you like it. That people of color are using our newfound power to act this way and then pretend like none of this is going on leads me to believe that we would have done the same thing that white people did were we to be in their historical position. Because such acts have its roots in human nature, not white people nature. And one can only imagine what might happen in the coming decades when the demographics of the US will have shifted such that white people will no longer constitute the majority, when the younger generation you've just seen have graduated from elite schools and hold positions of power in our institutions, our government, corporations, entertainment, news media, and so forth, how they might, in wielding the levers of society, be able to rationalize using their adult brain the hatred that was embedded in their minds during their adolescence. What we're seeing is just the beginning.
It is crazy.
To the white people who are watching, I just want to say, you are not an oppressor for refusing to accept an ideology that teaches people to hate you, that teaches you that you are inherently bad, that your children are inherently bad, that you're inherently racist no matter what you do or how you think, that you need to repent by taking affirmative steps in your life to redress harms that your ancestors may have done, or the racist actions of other white people. In fact, you are not an oppressor, period. You did not choose to be born white, just like any of us did not choose to be born in our race. And to ask of you, at the individual level, for example, to give your life in service of people of color, to be used as physical barriers at protests, to give away your house to black people instead of your children, all actual things that have been publicly demanded of white people, to ask this of you is morally reprehensible collective punishment. You are not under any obligation to carry yourself in any sort of way that others demand of you just because of the color of your skin. This, you need to do this and you need to do that because you benefit from privilege thing is bogus. It is just a way for people harboring racial animus to attack you, to say that the accomplishments you've achieved in your life isn't yours, and to silence you. It is not you. It is this ideology that is wrong and perverse. It is one cloaked in a shroud of pseudo-justice and self-righteousness, all the while excreting toxic fumes of racial hatred. It blames all white people for the actions of their ancestors, something you have no control over, while absolving black people of personal responsibility for their own individual actions by holding that black people commit acts of harm for example, towards another community, that's a fault of white supremacy. White people are controlling them like puppets on a string. It's a backwards, transgressive ideology. If you don't harbor any hate in your heart but want to fight it as a matter of principle, this does not make you racist or bigoted. If you refuse to accept their premise in your head, but are too afraid to voice your opinion, you're neither a coward nor a bad person. If you're of a liberal bent, but there's a small corner in your brain telling you as you're watching this video that perhaps some of this is wrong, listen to your intuition. Maybe you think, oh, I agree with most of what the progressive left teaches about racial justice, but just not with some of this disagreeable stuff, only at the extremes. I'm here to tell you that the rot starts at the core. This racial hatred of white people is a natural outgrowth, part and parcel of an ideology that attempts to indoctrinate us into believing that there is current systemic oppression going on, that all racial disparities we see today is the sole result of oppression by white people, when there are other more plausible explanations to be had that these same people are silencing as impermissible hate speech. They're telling you, shut up, you'll take it, and you'll like it. But contrary to what they're saying, you don't have to take that. You can believe that the things that have been done in the past were morally wrong, as well you should, all the while believing that what is currently going on is also wrong, that we're going backwards, that this is history rhyming with itself. The table is turning in an eye for an eye manner. As the great Mahatma Gandhi once said, an eye for an eye will leave the whole world blind. But those driven by hatred would sooner gouge everyone's eyes out than realize that true victory for people of color would have been having history record that when the power dynamics shifted, we treated white people with a kindness that their forefathers may not have shown our forefathers. But now, it will say when we gained the power, we turned around and started doing some of the same stuff to white people. Segregation, social ostracization, hatred sanctioned by government and law. And we're doing all of this while pretending like we're doing something valiant. We've missed our bus. But that doesn't mean that there can't be a course correction. So, to some people of color watching who are engaging in this sort of hatred, whether or not you're acutely aware, the same people that act like white people as a collective are not people, but rather some pernicious alien force that has come to invade the earth. With this video, I implore you to ask yourself, what are we doing to white people? As some people love to say, do better.
Y'all think he's stretching with the segregation?
Nah, he's not stretching, bro.
Can we go back to the segregation thing?
Where was that?
This is gonna be a
full time.
I think he just mentioned it as like he could get to that.
Hey, he's basically saying that we'll put white people in slavery
if we could. That's what he's saying.
That's basically what he's saying.
Yeah.
I think he made a couple of points. I think Muhammad Gandhi quote like an eye for an eye would lead to like a
eye for an eye leaves everybody blind. That's what the term is.
Yeah, and I think that's a great point. I think
that's what the Bible says. Turn the other cheek.
Yeah, and I think
if
we all.
But you think black people gonna have enough power to try to put some white people in?
No, he's saying people of color. He's not
he's saying that ideology. Basically, I'm gonna summarize what he's basically saying. He's saying that ideology teaches all people of color and minorities that it's basically us versus them. They oppressed us, so they're evil, they're bad. Fuck them.
Yeah, I understand that.
That's what it's saying.
I'm just trying to feel like y'all believe.
Nigga, fuck no, I don't believe that stupid
No, and you think
black people. But he's saying way later, like whenever they become the minority,
we're doing to them.
Nigga, that's gonna happen in a million years.
Nah, what? No, actually, like the year 2042, people of color, like as a whole in America, like it'll go to 51% to 49%. Yeah, like white people become the minority, not by like more black people, but as a whole, and then like more interracial marriage and like over progressive time, there would have like at this rate we're going, there will be more.
That's why they have that weird Netflix show, that doctor saying, I was trying to help my people by making all those babies with all those women.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, he was like, I'm trying to help my white people, basically.
Damn.
And then there's that one conspiracy theory, like, oh, these white men want to stop abortion because white people are supposed to be really getting abortions. That's that one theory I heard, like conspiracy theory to eliminate that.
So basically he's saying we got black privilege. That's what I'm getting out of this.
I think
basically you go to your dean and say my teachers were racist. A white man can't do that. He's basically saying how can a person be racist to a white man?
Yeah, I see that.
That's crazy. So he's saying we basically have power because we can pull cards with certain things.
I think
you're a racist.
I think also what he was saying. Like I think to me what we're doing, I think we're trying to make white people more sensitive. Like we're trying to make white people think that they are they're racist. Like you know what I'm saying? Like, and what we're doing is making them softer. Like, and like all the examples that he might have gave. Like, what we're doing to white people, making them softer and making them think like, oh, we're such a terrible people and we're oppressing these.
That sucks.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people of color blame white people for racism that they have never experienced. I can't
never experienced
that,
bro.
But y'all,
and you can't punish people for what their
ancestors did, bro. Me,
I can't be mad at
not slaves.
Your daddy did this. Man, you a hoe.
Hey, there's an episode of Atlanta that makes a joke out of that. How black people could go get reparations from white people whose ancestors owned slaves. So basically showing this regular white dude just living his life, and this black lady just shows up, beats on his door. I own all this shit now. You owe me $2 million. She just kept following them, and they was forcing white people to their stuff. And it's just ridiculous. When you watch it, it's this is bullshit. Yeah. Basically teaching the ideology.
Because they didn't know. You know, so when they was born, they didn't know.
Bro, they can't control that, bro. I'm tired of this logic, this us versus them logic, and white people are bad, bro.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense to me.
Trying to make white people feel bad at the fact that they're white.
Listen.
The best thing I've heard is that we're not dealing with racism anymore. We're dealing with evil versus good.
Exactly.
There you go, son.
That's all it is here.
Hey, that's a good one.
That's a great one. I heard that. I don't know who I got that from.
That's that fast.
I feel like white people hearing that type of shit is enough to make them turn racist. Well, shit, fuck me, fuck you.
That's what basically Scott Adams said.
Basically, you poke him in the eye, he gonna poke you right back. Now you both blind.
I'm rocking with Officer Tatum because I feel like he genuinely trying to fix this
That's
shit.
what they said in the comments. Hate begets hate. So when we spew hate against them, they gonna spew hate against us. Boom, it's us versus them. It's sad, to me, it's idiotic, all that shit they were saying. Yeah. White people this, white people that. You got it dumb.
But y'all saw what it was.
I'm not gonna lie.
Straight females.
I can't say it was a black
I can't say
he was making fun of the Asian girl.
All black people do that though.
Yeah.
I know a lot of black people.
They got a lot of black people.
I won't say all black people, but there's a lot of
it's
black
socially
people.
accepted.
Yes. I'm too messed up when I see my mama
I'm not in the Asian shoes.
I couldn't even say no.
My Asians out there, do y'all see racism? Do y'all I'm trying to figure out.
There was a wave of racism against Asians.
Family Guy makes fun of it, yeah. So
no, reality, actually.
No, I know.
A bunch of hate crimes being committed against Asians.
And I'm not gonna say that racism doesn't exist. There are instances where people experience. I'm not. It's prevalent, but I think like I said, I think a lot of people who never experienced racism claim that they have never. You know what I'm saying? Experienced
I think it all goes back to that victim mentality.
Yeah.
Did you know?
So do y'all believe in the Karen energy?
I think there are.
I think I think that comes from a sense of entitlement rather than you know what I'm saying? They feel entitled.
Yeah. And I don't think it's fair to associate Karens with Karens say all white women are Karens or all white people are Karens.
I met some beautiful, great white
I just don't really like the ideology that's being pushed. I feel like it brainwashes people in the wrong way, and it's idiotic to me.
Because that's like taking a black girl that's acting crazy and be like, oh, that's how black girls act.
That old girl.
See, you know what I'm saying?
We got both.
Karens
and ghetto girls.
Why you saying that on all black people? Shit.
Even on that, I guess.
Hey, you got to treat others how you want to be treated. You got to give. You want the benefit of the doubt. You got to get the benefit.
Charlie just went in,
man.
Charlie for president, bro.
He went, man. I like him.
Went crazy.
I like him, man.
That was a good video.
Yeah, that was a beautiful video, man. Yeah, we're gonna do some more videos like this. You guys are really enjoying this, and we are too, man. These are the funnest videos. We out of here. Hit us on Instagram.